I
to
was
meet you.
same here, honey. I'm Miss Zell, and welcome to Reading Champs. I know you're already a good reader, but your teacher recommended that you come to me because I love reading and it'll give you a little bit more practice.
Okay.
So, what we're going to do is we have a passage here. We're going to learn new vocabulary if any of these words you don't know. And I'll take you through. First, you're going to read the passage, then I read, and then I'll read a sentence, you read a sentence. It's called echo reading, on hello, hello, and then you read again. And at some points, I'm going to time your reading, and I want you, though, to read as well as you can. It's not a race. You should, I should be able to understand it, but it's just to get an idea of your pace, and then I'll time you again. Okay? So it's not a race. All right. So you are going to read, but first let's look at some of the vocabulary words. What's this say? Sorry, sweetie.
Float.
Okay, what is float? Do you know?
It's, you could float on a raft, or a raft can float.
Right, or if you blow something, a little milk pod in the air. Great. And what's this word?
Gravity?
Gravity. Gravity.
Okay.
And what is gravity?
It's a force that pulls things to the ground.
Exactly. Okay.
Skills.
Mm-hmm.
Skills are things a person can do.
Exactly. What's your skill? Give me one skill you have.
Judo.
Ooh, we'll talk about it later. I want to hear more. Okay, and the final?
Space.
Mm-hmm. Has how many meanings? Two meanings, right?
One is like in the sky.
Yep. And the
The
other?
other is like this room is a space.
Right. And what are people always saying? I need my space. Okay. Well, you seem really ready to go. So, I'm going to let you read. Well, anyway, actually, I keep telling you to read, but what do you think this is going to be about? So we had float, gravity, remember that pronunciation, skills, and space. What do you think it's about?
Somebody who goes on the moon and does, or different planets.
Who goes on the moon or different planets? So let's see what this holds for us. Okay, so are you sending it clear? All right, a 1, a 2, and Tommy, it's you.
The word astronaut means a sailor in space. So people who go into space are called astronauts. Astronauts are people who work in spaceships. They go into space to learn about the Earth and the Moon. They do tests to learn about the sun and the stars. Astronauts need to be good thinkers. Their bodies have to be in good shape too. This is because space is not like the Earth. There is gravity on the Earth. It pulls people to the Earth. There is not much gravity in space. This makes astronauts float when they are in space, so they have to be striped down. They also have to work in very small spaces. Astronauts are people with special skills.
That was great, Sarkana. I just heard three little boo-bloos. Boo-bloos. So it's a sailor. Not sure what you said, but sailor. Would you repeat that?
Sailor.
Okay. And this one, you're right. It looks like what you have for Thanksgiving, but it's not great, but gravity. Gravity.
Gravity.
Gravity, uh-huh. And then you are strapped down. Strapped.
Strapped.
Uh-huh. So let's just go over these so you're good the second reading.
Sailor.
Uh-huh.
Gravity. Strap.
Great. So you read, so 117 minus, so it's 114. So here was your time. And then 114, and here's the big calculation. Wow, 74 words per minute. That's pretty good. Pat yourself on the back. Okay, so here's my reading of it. Okay, you follow along. The word astronaut means a sailor in space. So people who go into space are called astronauts. Astronauts are people who work in spaceships. They go into space to learn about the Earth and the Moon. They do tests to learn about the sun and the stars. Astronauts need to be good thinkers. Their bodies have to be in good shape, too. This is because space is not like Earth. There is gravity on the Earth. It pulls people to the Earth. There is not much gravity in space. This makes astronauts float when they are in space. So they have to be strapped down. They also have to work in very small spaces. Astronauts are people with special skills. I wonder what it's like floating, huh? I wonder what it's like. Any word you're not sure of?
Not really.
Okay. So now you and I are going, I'm going to read and you're going to echo me. Hello, hello. Okay, ready? The word astronaut means a sailor in space.
The word astronaut means a sailor in space.
So people who go into space are called astronauts.
So people who go into space are called astronauts.
Astronauts are people who work in spaceships.
Astronauts are people who work in spaceships.
They go into space to learn about the Earth and the Moon.
They go into space to learn about the Earth and the Moon.
They do tests to learn about the sun and the stars.
They do tests to learn about the sun and the stars.
Astronauts need to be good thinkers. This is because space is not like Earth.
This is because space is not like Earth.
And you know what? Who made a mistake? Me. The Earth.
Okay.
The Earth, yes. There is gravity on the Earth.
There is gravity on the Earth.
It pulls people to the Earth.
It pulls people to the Earth.
There is not much gravity in space.
There is not much gravity in space.
This makes astronauts float when they are in space.
This makes astronauts float when they are in space.
So they have to be strapped down.
So they have to be strapped down.
They also have to work in very small spaces.
They also have to work in very small spaces.
Astronauts are people with special skills.
Astronauts are people with special skills.
Boy, we're learning a lot about these astronauts, aren't we? Okay, anything you're not sure of? Because you get another read. You ready? Okay. So, here we go. Let me clear. And 1 and 2. Tommy, it's you.
The word astronaut means a sailor in space. So people who go into space are called astronauts. Astronauts are people who work in spaceships. They go into space to learn about the Earth and the Moon. They do tests to learn about the sun and the stars. Astronauts need to be good thinkers. Their bodies have to be in good shape too. This is because space is not like the Earth. There is gravity on the Earth. It pulls people to the Earth. There is not much gravity in space. This makes astronauts float when they are in space. So they have to be strapped down. They also have to work in very small spaces. Astronauts are people with special skills.
Great. Okay. You know what? There were no mistakes. Wow. Okay, so we did 100. That's your time. And 7, calculate. Whoa, 111 words per minute from 74. Okay, tell me about these questions. What was most of the story about?
Astronauts.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And tell me, what what did you learn from the story? Like, what skill would an astronaut need?
Uh, uh, well, they need their body to be in good shape,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to be good thinkers.
Okay. You did a wonderful job today. I think we'll just stop here. How's that? Because it's time for you to go back to class. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you next week.